Good morning, students. In today's lecture, I am going to discuss about remedies available for environmental protection in India. As we know that in India we have many legal provisions which seeks to protect the environment from attacks from human race, which protects environment from dangers from pollutions, etc. Along with various constitutional provisions, there are several legislative enactments passed by the Parliament of India in order to achieve constitutional objectives of ensuring a wholesome environment to the citizen of India. Amongst them, several legislative enactments are Indian Penal Code 1860, Environmental Protection Act 1986, Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, and many more. In first part, I wish to discuss about constitutional provision on environmental protection. Before the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution of India, the word environment was not mentioned under Indian Constitution, but it was added by 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Part 4, which deals with directive principles of state policy and fundamental duty, explicitly enunciate the national commitment to protect and improve the environment. So it is now well settled judicial principle that right to pollution-free environment is the fundamental right and human right of the citizen. Supreme Court of India, in its judicial pronouncement, held that precautionary principle and polluter pays principle is now law of land in India. By 42nd Amendment Act of the Constitution, Article 48A was added in Directive Principles of State Policy, and Article 51A was added as a new provision in fundamental duty. Part 3 of Indian Constitution deals with fundamental right, and under Article 21, which deals with the right to life, this right would be meaningless if there is no healthy environment for the citizen to live in. Article 48A provides that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forests, wildlife of the country. Article 51A, subclause G, provides that it shall be duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. So by this amendment, Article 48A and Article 51A especially deals with the provision of environment in India, and the term environment took significant role in the Indian Constitution. Judicial pronouncement, if we analyze in rural litigation entitlement Kendra versus State of UP, the Honorable Supreme Court observed that protection of environment is not only duty of state under Article 48A, but the citizen of India are also duty bound to protect the environment under Article 51A subclause G. Originally, fundamental duty was incorporated in the constitution was not directly enforceable. This one cannot go to the court for protection of for fundamental duties. However, with the passage of time through judicial activism, necessary stimulus was provided to achieve the objective behind the incorporation of fundamental duty in the constitution for protection of environment as well. In the case of L.K. Kulwal versus State of Rajasthan and others, the court explained the ambit of Article 51A and observed that it is true that it is duty of citizen to protect the environment under Article 51A Clause G of the Constitution, but this article also creates a right in the favor of citizen to move the court for enforcement of Article 51A subclause G. And in MC Mehta versus Union of India, Honorable Supreme Court held that right to live in pollution-free environment is a part of fundamental rights to life under Article 21 of the Constitution. Thus, in these three cases, we see that in fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, and fundamental duties, all the three important places, the term environment got significant role. There are many other cases also, but if we see the remedies available for enforcement of environmental laws or environmental protection, in common law, we see that there are several remedies. First amongst them is nuisance. Now a question arises, what is nuisance? Nuisance is related to unlawful interference with one's enjoyment of land or any rights arising from it. It may be public nuisance or private nuisance. Public nuisance deals with interference with a right pertaining to the public, while private nuisance is interference with the right which is exercised exclusively by a private entity or an individual. Section 91 of Criminal Procedure Code 1973 prescribes that a suit may be filed to obtain a suitable relief or injunction for any cause of action affecting or likely to affect the public nuisance. A magistrate is also empowered to restrain any person from carrying out an act that may give effect to the public nuisance. In the case of Ramlal versus Mustafabad Oil and Oil Gaining Factory, the Punjab and Haryana High Court observed that once a noise is found to be above the necessary threshold to attract the liability of public nuisance, it is no valid defense to contend that such noise arose out of any legal activity. Apart from this, public nuisance has been made punishable under Indian Penal Code 1860. And in Rambaz Singh versus Babulal, in this case, a person built a brick grinding machine in front of the consulting chamber of a medical practitioner. The machine was generating a lot of dust and noise which polluted the atmosphere and entered the consulting chamber of medical practitioner and caused physical inconvenience to him and also his patients. The Allahabad High Court held that this amounts the private nuisance which can reasonably to be said a cause injury, discomfort or annoyance to a person. Exposure of unwilling person to dangerous and disastrous level of noise amounts noise pollution, and it also known as noise nuisance, and thus it can be controlled under the law of torts, and no citizen can exercise his fundamental freedom under the constitution in such way that it creates a nuisance to the other to become health hazards activities. And in Free Legal Aid Cell versus Government of NCT of Delhi, the petition was filed on behalf of an association of public activities in public interest. The main grievance in this petition was that as a result of display of fireworks and use thereof during festivals and marriage, physical and mental health hazards is suffered by adults as well as children. It was also submitted that because of indiscriminate use of loudspeaker, noise pollution has become a routine affair affecting mental as well as physical health of citizens. It causes nuisance. Other remedy is negligence. Negligence is another specific tort in which a common law action to prevent environmental pollution can be instituted. When there is a duty to take care and the same is not taken, means if there is a duty to take care and is not taken, and due to which some harm to another person occurred, it amounted to negligence. Very landmark case on negligence is Deno versus Stevenson, which is case of law tort. But as far as environmental law is concerned, in Naresh Dutt Tyagi versus State of Uttar Pradesh, in this case, chemical pesticides were stored in godown in a residential area. Fumes emanating from the pesticide leaked to the contiguous property through ventilators, which resulted the death of 3 children and an infant in the womb of mother. It was heard that there was clear case of negligence. Third common law remedy is trespass, which means an intentional invasion of interest of the plaintiff over the property in his exclusive possession. The invasion may be direct or through some tangible object. So, trespass differs from nuisance because trespass is actionable per se, means if trespass is committed, then it is actionable in itself, whereas nuisance is actionable in the proof of damage. Means in case of nuisance, the proof of damage is necessary. In the environmental related problems, tort of trespass constitutes a deliberate placement of waste in such circumstances as it will be carried to the land of the plaintiff by natural forces. It may be gases or invisible fumes. So the primary remedy for environmental torts are claiming unliquidated damages or injunction or both. Fourth remedy is no fault liability or strict liability, or Indian version of strict liability, that is known as absolute liability. In very renowned case, no fault liability was conceptualized. That is Ryland versus Fletcher case. In the case, Justice Blackburn propounded that the person who for his own purpose brings on his land and collected or keeps there anything likely to mischief, if it escapes, must keep it in his own peril, and if he does not do so, prima facie answerable for all damages, which is natural consequence of that escape. So, if any person brings any dangerous things in his premise and due to escape of that thing, any other person got injured, so that person is answerable for our damage. There are certain exceptions of rule of strict liability by which a person can get defense: act of God, act committed by a third party, any fault committed by plaintiff himself, an act committed after obtaining express or implied consent of the plaintiff, and natural use of land by the defendant. In India, in MC Mehta versus Union of India, Justice Bhagwati felt that applying Ryland versus Fletcher case will put some loopholes by following which a person can escape from his liability. So Supreme Court in this case observed that if a hazardous or inherently dangerous activity is being carried out in any premise, and in case of a release of such toxic substance, any damage is caused, such enterprise is strictly and absolutely liable for all the damages arising thereto. And any of exceptions listed out above in the case of Ryland versus Fletcher case is not applicable as a defense in the case of absolute liability. And in addition to this, the court also held that in a Union Carbide Corporation versus Union of India, that compensation has to be directly proportional to magnitude and capacity of the enterprise, because such compensation needs to have a deterrent effect. So in India, the absolute liability is equal to doctrine of strict liability minus defenses. There are certain other penal provisions in India for protection of environment. For example, Chapter 14 of Indian Penal Code provides under Section 268 to 294A, which deals with offences relating to public health, safety, etc. The main object of these provisions is to protect public health, safety, and convenience by rendering those acts punishable which makes the environment polluted and dangerous to the life of an individual. In K. Ramakrishnan versus State of Kerala, court held that smoking in public place comes under the category of public nuisance. Hence, it is punishable under Section 290 of Indian Penal Code. And also, in Murli S. Deora versus Union of India, the Supreme Court held that under Article 21, smoking in public place is a violation of fundamental rights, those who does not smokes. Section 269 to 271 of Indian Penal Code deals with negligent act which is likely to spread infection of disease dangerous to life of people. These acts are punishable under Section 269 to 271, and the punishment provided under these sections is imprisonment up to 6 months or fine or both. Section 277 can be used for protecting water pollution, under which punishment of imprisonment is up to 3 months or a fine up to 500 rupees or both. Apart from these provisions, under Section 426, 430, 431 and 432 of IPC, pollution caused by mischief is also punishable. There are two primarily legislation that enlist penal provision for the violation of laws propounded in those legislation, that are known as the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974 and the Environment Protection Act 1986. According to Section 47 of Water Pollution Act, A person is vicariously liable for offense committed by a company if such person is in charge of the function committed by the company or for conduct of business of the company. So it can be analyzed that there are more than enough legislation that tries to deal with means of environment degradation. Despite of existence of environmental policy, the constitutional mandate of environmental protection, a flurry of legislation and administrative infrastructures of implementation, the problem of environmental pollution is still remaining in India. The future must be seen as a great challenge to be overcome by society as a whole by evolving new means and mechanism in tackling complex problem arising out the rapid industrial advancements. The new means and mechanism will introduce the greatest possible transparency and accountability in the functioning of the government and modes and measures of enforcing laws effectively in dealing with offenses against the environment, which is greatest wealth shared by all the citizens. Thank you. Thank you very much.